Mic check, 1 2
1 2
1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We are live for episode number
9.
Put a Stamp podcast. Put a Stamp on It podcast.
Put a Stamp on It podcast.
Excuse me. Make sure to follow us where?
Put a Stamp on It podcast. We are live on. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere on iTunes,
Spotify.
Keep a lookout for that.
IG,
Facebook, YouTube. So thank you for those tuning in right now and watching us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, so we have Instagram, we have Facebook Live, and then we have also always live and recording to upload the video would be on YouTube. And you can follow any of our videos and review them at any time if you wanted to see the actual video itself. Like you said, if not, just get on iTunes and the rest of the podcast type formats and listen to us. Subscribe, follow. We really appreciate it. Leave comments, everything you possibly can. All right. So, man, what do you want to get into?
Well, a couple things. How
was your weekend?
It was actually pretty good. We went to go see Aladdin, right? As well did you.
Yes.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I was really tripping out on how the genie, like Will Smith, if he's going to portray the genie, because like me, you grew up with Robin Williams being the genie, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. What are your thoughts? Do you think Will Smith actually lived the part good enough to be genie?
So going into it, I was reluctant, like
I was reserved,
arms crossed. I don't know how to feel about this, but I do think what I like about it, he didn't try to play the genie in the way that Robin Williams did, because you can't match Robin Williams. That dude was amazing. And I asked my kids, I said, have you ever seen the original one? And they're like, nah, bits and pieces. I'm like, you don't even know what you're missing out, because the original one set the tone. But back to your question, I think he did a great role for being who he is. He was like true to who he is. Will Smith, he's funny. They threw some rap in there. It was good. I liked it. I mean, honestly, I'd give that thing 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
I'd probably watch it again in theaters.
I was very surprised because I felt the exact same way. I had my reservations going in, and I thought, well, Robin Williams, how much can Will Smith do that? What's up, LP? So I thought he did a really good job. And like you said, he made it his own. And you can tell Will Smith because he's not a Tom Hanks per se, where Tom Hanks can play any role.
Yeah.
And but you can tell when Will Smith puts his own little spin on it, which I liked. I thought it was very, very good.
For sure.
And afterwards, we went home and then we watched the original.
Oh, did you guys?
1992.
What did the kids say about it?
They thought it was cool. They were
Dang, 92?
Yeah, 1992.
My brother was born in 92, I think, or 93. Good Lord.
Did you know that the guy from Full House, DJ's boyfriend, he played the voice of Aladdin, the original one?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Useless trivia, I know. But it was crazy. Wow.
I will say the dance scenes were pretty good. When he was dancing.
They were pretty good.
A lot of me wish I had that type of skills, but, it's all good.
So I know you went to the Manolo Cook-Off, right?
Yeah, we did a couple things this weekend. We watched, Saturday, I don't know if I lose my voice. Saturday, we woke up, took the kids, we watched Aladdin. As soon as we got out, I was like, I texted my brother in the middle of the movie, and I'm like, man, I think about to take off to Long Beach today just to go. So we got out, gassed the car up, and smashed to Long Beach. That's where my brother lives. He lives downtown Long Beach. So we went to go visit him, went to Huntington Beach, walked around, just chilled, man. It was good. Good day, man. Really no expectations other than we were going to watch Aladdin. We made a trip out of it. It gave me a lot of time when the kids were asleep in the car up and back to spend quality time with me and
swimming in Lake U.
Oh man, swimming in Lake Me. And then I was able to kill this audio of this book, which I want to get into a little bit later. But I was able. I came across this freaking amazing book and killed it twice. I've already, since I got it on Friday, I crushed the audio twice already, and then I'm already working on reading the book and highlighting through. Yeah. So now I'm like 3 times into the book.
Dude, show the people what book you're talking about, man.
Oh, man.
It's pretty interesting. We kind of touched on it lightly when I got here, and it's actually pretty mind-blowing, man, because it opened up. I mean,
great conversation off the mic.
Yeah, it was off the mic, and it definitely opened up a lot of mental doors, if you will, because it put things into perspective that one I really never really thought about. Maybe I did, but I just wasn't honest enough to come forward with how I really actually feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So go ahead and share with.
So I always like to say that that I practice in the form of street psychology, where we didn't go to school for it. I didn't go to school for it. But being the type of business that we are, you have to be self-motivated and self-disciplined. You find yourself sharing books and content and podcasts and other educational items with people. And then also you, just like anything else, your inner circle, you tend to look at things and then follow and kind of go deeper down the rabbit hole, which YouTube does. So I was listening to The Breakfast Club. And if anybody ever listens to Breakfast Club, Charlamagne Tha God has a book on there as well about where he talked about dealing with a lot of self, like depression and all that stuff, and opening up about it and being a man and opening up about it. And that's kind of like what we do. I haven't gotten into that one. I haven't read it, but they had a guy on there. And usually I pick and choose which ones I want to listen to, but this one rolled into it. So the guy's name was Humble the Poet, and he's an Indian. I believe he's Sikh. And had the turban, had the beard, had a shirt on that said like, "You're gonna die," and he was just like, but they were co-signing his book hard, like, "Hey, we got this book and we read it, and like, man, like this is like good." And I was like, I gotta get this. So I bought it on audio and I just started listening to it when I was at the gym all day, and then kind of in and out when I was doing things at the house. And I'm like, man, this is fire. So the book is called Unreal. So Unreal, 101 Simple Truths for a Better Life. Unreal to IG, Unreal to Facebook. So again, Unreal.
Unlearn.
Oh, unlearn. Sorry.
Okay.
Man, I'm trying to work on this voice.
All right, Unlearn.
Yeah.
Unlearn by Humble the Poet. All right.
Follow him on.
Is that him right there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you can follow him on his IG under Humble the Poet. Go to YouTube and look him up. So you can get a little bit of context about it. But what I like about the book, it's 101 chapters. They're really small chapters, easy read, straight to the point. And I almost feel like because due to his age, where he's kind of in the same age bracket as us, like he speaks more to something that you can relate to, and he hits a lot about self-improvement, loving yourself, unbreaking all of the things that you were taught as a kid. And what kind of brought me to him was, he was an elementary school teacher for, he said, like 3rd grade. And then during that time, he kind of got that entrepreneur bug where he was doing like free writing poetry, and he would go and do poetry speaks and stuff like that. And then he started kind of doing it over beats. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get in this rap game. So he started rapping. He's from Canada.
Oh, wow.
While being the teacher. But he says always one thing was that, like, when you talk to kids, like, they're empty vessels, right? And then in a lot of his life, he was getting challenged because where he comes from, the family, moves to where they moved from. And, a lot of his dad had like I think it was a master's in like some form of engineering. But when he moved over, he could only be like a taxi driver. Like, that doesn't correlate to where they moved to, that education. Right. So like if you're from outside the States and you move to the States, like those credits and that schooling doesn't sometimes carry over. So you'll see a lot of people pick up different types of jobs.
Oh man.
So what they do is, they put all that onus on the children to become what they either wanted to become or to pick up a bigger field, right? To keep the family moving.
So it's kind of like where they live vicariously through them to be
right.
They were?
But his point is like, we're in Canada and even the States, like, you've got Western philosophy, it is a little bit different than the Eastern philosophy, I mean, where they feels like a straight line, and everybody has a chance in life and everything like that. Where over there it's more cyclical, it's like a circle, seasons. But his challenges were like him wanting to get into that and that entrepreneurship. It didn't fit well with his family, so then he went through like a bunch of different things in life, stuff like that. Now this book isn't really even about him. This is about like the lessons and stuff like that. But what something that tripped me out was like, it was like when you talk to a kid, they're empty, and you tell a kid to put your boots on and put your shoes on. You think, I'm gonna put my pants on first and I'm gonna put my boots on, right? Because it's all obviously that's how it goes. But a kid will sit there and put their boots on and keep trying to put their pants on over it. So his thought was like, kids are empty vessels, and like we as adults, we're dumping, as we don't know, but we're dumping our problems onto them.
Yeah.
Because these are things that we've learned from our parents or others, that are ahead of us. We just dump into them not knowingly. We mean best, but this shit doesn't really come out until they're adults, like crystallize.
Well, that's the thing is like kids are like sponges, and you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
They soak up everything up. So, I mean, even with the things that we taught, you were talking about how things that we're learning from our parents, and we kind of tend to go to that.
Yeah.
Whether it be like one of the things that I carry for some crazy reason, because I come from a Mexican culture. My mom says, "Don't ever sweep the floors at night. It's bad luck." I know it has nothing to do with anything, but yet for some reason I believe it. And now it's kind of okay. You know what? I'm slowly like, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'll let the Roombas do it at night, so I won't hear it. But it's kind of hard to unlearn what you've already learned, man. So does the book actually tell you how to slowly kind of break those bad habits, so to speak?
Yeah, it does, but it gives it like in lessons. One of the things is like admitting. And I mean, that's kind of a small example, but if you go personal is like really admitting to yourself that you have a problem with some aspect of where you're at, like in your life, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, it's your job, whether it's your friends, whether it's your career, anything like that, right? And it's really like just kind of breaking it down to the simplest form and really taking ownership of it. And I mean, you read this in a lot of books, but really taking ownership to like, this is your life. Like, this is what you got. This is what you got to deal with. Like, it's all, perception and how you want to view things and stuff.
Right.
And one thing, like, I hear Gary Vaynerchuk say a lot of times, like, you're going to die. Like, that was like that. I feel like that shit's impactful. Like it's impactful enough that like, I literally wrote on my mirror right above my sink last night, "You're going to die." I wrote it. It was real big.
What's the reason for that?
Well, because it's something that me and you had talked about previously in a couple podcasts, and I highlighted it. It says, you're going to die. What other guarantees do we have in life besides death?
Taxes.
It's it's not the days in your life, but the life in your days.
Okay.
So that's kind of like what we were talking about, that dash, right? And it really kind of goes into like, he's just like kind of like flipped the mindset, like, yeah, we got a lot of shit that goes on, but we focus on the past. That's never going to happen again. Right. So why wait? Why hang around there?
Yeah.
People worry you worry yourself about the future, but it hasn't arrived yet. And you don't even know if that future is going to arrive that way, because a lot of times it can't even be controllable. So, basically we're making these deposits into the future as if it's going to come. I mean, you can die tomorrow. We can die in 10, 15 years, like anything can happen. But his thought was, it's just like he says, like, you need to be within the moment. And that's big because that's something that my ex-wife used to say, like, you need to be in the moment. Like, why are you not in the moment? I was always worried about things that have happened or what's going to happen. If we went on a trip, I was concerned about when are we going to get there? I was concerned about the traffic, or I was concerned about, okay, we got here late, then we're going to get back. Like, I was never just like chill, right?
Right.
So it's like kind of this weekend, we shot out, we left a little late, we got there. I'm like, why am I working off of an internal clock that I need to be back at a certain time?
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
If I get back at midnight or 1, oh well.
Right. Yeah.
But we're conditioned to feel that we're always, my mom was like that. I got to be home before it gets dark.
Now, do you think it's because of the reason we're taught that is maybe because of guilt? Because, oh man, if I'm not back at a certain time, they're going to be pissed off, or something isn't going to go right?
I think it just comes from whatever. I mean, it could just be from whatever situation you learn. Like I said, mine was my mom. My mom always had to be home before my dad got home from work, and she always, to make dinner, she always had to be home before dark. Like, I don't want to be home after dark, right?
Right.
And I would see her get so flustered about it as growing up. I don't think necessarily that I knew that was an issue, but now as I get older, I'm like, no, now I'm where I'm at. It's always like, yo, we got to get here, we got to get there. It's always a rush. Grab this. It's like, instead of being like, like, this is the moment. This is what we're in.
Yeah.
And you forget about those things. And, those are the kind of like, those are the moments that are going to be more impactful for that, like you said, it's not the days in your life, but the life in your days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that dash in between.
And then that's the important part. And you know what, man? I swear, I feel like the universe is just kind of talking to me a little bit, because this morning, my wife's cousin calls us up. You know, we slept in. It was Memorial Day weekend. Thought, why not let all the kids sleep in? She calls up my wife. Says, "Hey, yeah, I'm in the neighborhood. My dog's getting this. I'm getting some stuff. I don't want to drive back to the other side of town. Do you mind if I hang out?" She comes over and hangs out, right? And the cool thing about it is that it wasn't planned. It just happened, right? And she came over, and it's crazy, man, because I guess this is something I've always wanted. Is just, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. You might stop on by, brother, friend, whoever. Yeah, just come on by, and actually enjoy a non-planned event. So she came over, started making breakfast. We started talking about different things that have been happening lately because on social media we connect with a lot of people, so we stay in tune with, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Okay, my sister, that's the only way she keeps up with me. For Lent, when I gave her social media, she says, hey, when are you gonna get back on social media? That's the only way I know what's going on in your life. I was like, you can call me, right, and come over. But the thing I liked about the most is the fact that when she came over, we just enjoying a genuine conversation. Yeah, it got deep, and then we went back on the high and you know, laughed it off, but we were able to engage, and she stayed at our house for a couple hours. Yeah, and I think that it was like unplanned. It was unplanned. Yeah, it was unplanned. But it ended up becoming great. We didn't have, oh, she's got to be out by this time. No, like she hung out there. We talked and had a really good time. And I can honestly say I was living in the moment right then and there. Yeah, I had a couple showings, but I pushed them off for later because I don't want to worry about it. So we just hung out, had good breakfast, good conversation. And then after that, when she left, okay, now we've got to do the rigmarole. I had to get back to work and do some things. But I think it is very important, man, that if we can, I think it's hard for me because I try, and I hear my wife will tell me the same thing. Yeah, you know, you need to enjoy the moment with your kids. You need to be here and do this. But the way I feel, sometimes I feel like there's not enough time. But I think it's because I try to do so much. I spread myself thin in essence, and I feel like, oh, damn, I'm not doing enough for myself. I'm not doing enough for my kids. I'm not doing enough for my wife. I'm not doing enough for my business. You know, and I'm like, man, maybe I need to take more into Lake Me and just kind of just like slow it down. I think maybe, you know, and something kind of in learning from this is like, you need to just ask maybe your family what is their expectations of what you do? What is their perception of what you're doing, and what is it they really expect of you to be doing? Well, how do you ask a 9-year-old that? Because they don't know any better. I've asked my 14-year-old before, like when she was like 12, I think. I said, "What do you think about what Dad does?" She's like, "What do I want to do?" I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "I see you on the phone all the time, picking up your phone. I see you just dropping everything to go take care of your clients." She's like, that doesn't look interesting. That doesn't look like a life somebody should be living. Like that type of, like, that's just tough. You know, I know what it brings to us. Like, I know what you do for us, but just you're at becking calls of some people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, like, and that's okay. Like, you know, like, so, you know, kind of like what I kind of want to get to, you know, like with that, like, I think a lot of time it comes from comparison, right? So he has this chapter called "Comparisons Are Killers." So like, we're so caught up in like looking at social media, and I don't think knowingly you may do it or we do it, but I think subconsciously it happens. Like, you look at somebody who, you know, you'll get people that will post things like when they have problems and stuff like that, but a lot of times you're like, oh, damn, these people are on a trip, and you're always looking at the best picture that they prepared for. Right. And a lot of times you seeing this, right? You draw a comparison of like, well, I should be on a trip, or maybe I'm not working hard enough, or, you know, you really don't kind of see all the things. So he says, you know, we can't be ourselves if we don't know ourselves. And we can't know ourselves if all we know about who we are is in comparison to others. Okay. So you can look at it like, well, I'm not working hard enough, but who are you, you know, where are you drawing your comparisons from? Like, if your content's like these people that are coaches and these millionaire posts and somebody's selling more, you subconsciously are telling yourself that I have to work that hard to be there, but you don't know. We really don't know how hard they work, right? They're telling us how hard they work, but is that kind of, is that the trade-off for it? Because I almost want to say that majority of guys that you come across that generally are ahead in certain things, and women, they know how to use time on their side. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's where, that just kind of becomes our downfall, because we're just kind of looking at that and stuff. And then we just get so blindsided by things. But, I think it's sometimes, and we have this conversation off mic, I prefer someone to be more honest, open and honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's how a relationship should be, with whether it's your spouse or whether it's with a friend. And everybody usually is going to give you the cover first, and no one's going to be real. Like, and I try to practice this every so often, like when people are like, "Hey, how's your day?" And what does most people respond? Hey, how's your day?
Oh, it's good. How's yours?
It's terrible.
Really?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, that really shuts people down.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really good, actually.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm dealing with a lot of shit today. Like, and they're just like, that's not what I was looking for. You know what I mean? Like, so that cracks me up, because we're so conditioned to do that. Versus, like, I remember I hit somebody with that. I was telling you about that. My response to them was this, and they just kind of looked at me like they didn't know how to handle it. And I'm like, oh no, I'm just telling you. Ask me how my day was. I'm telling you the honest truth. This is where I'm at today, and this is kind of what I think I should be doing. And they're just like, oh shit. Like, it's not always gonna be grass is green and rainbows and shit. Like, you gotta go through shit. Like, there's gotta be those downtimes, and you gotta embrace that shit. Like, you gotta embrace that shit happened, or you lost your house, or you got a divorce, or someone died. I mean, just the fuck else can you do but embrace it?
Yeah.
And then you gotta learn from it, and then you gotta get yourself out of it. Another thing he says that I wrote on my window was my mirror, my bathroom was, no one's coming to save you. You gotta save yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, that made a lot of sense to me. Like, no one's just going to pop in and be like, I got you, or they're going to take you to where you want to be, whether it's your business or it's a certain point of family, or just whatever it is.
Right.
Like, you got to do that shit yourself.
Yeah.
And you really have to, like, because the world doesn't care. Like, everybody has their own problems.
Right.
Everybody wants to talk and get listened to, and you want to help people. But a lot of times, like, in the end, that your problems are always going to overcome mine, because that's just what they are. There's things I can deal with.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, it's a major read, dude. I think you should pick that shit up. Like, it's a good book.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, with that said, I mean, Unlearn by
Humble the Poet. Unlearn. Pick that up. Another 8. Watch this podcast, The Breakfast Club, with Damon Dash. Damon Dash, I don't know what year they did it. Yeah, Damon Dash from Rockefeller. Damon Dash, it's him and 2 other guys next to him, Murder Mook and OG Daniel. And they interview this dude, right? I'm tripping out, man. At first I was like, I started trying to tune away from it. But then I kept listening. And he goes on this big ass rant about being a boss, like being your own boss, like owning your own stuff, right? And he starts telling DJ Envy, he's like, are you a boss? He's like, yeah, I'm a boss. He's like, okay, you own this company? He's like, no, but I'm in a high position here. He's like, oh, what if you don't show up today? He's like, well, something can happen. He's like, oh, okay, so like, what if your son needs a job? Can you give him a job? No, well, no. He's like, you ain't no boss. Like he was like
on air.
Oh, dude, like he's ruthless, man. Like, he was like, Did you just gotta watch, like spend time watch that one? Like, that one's hard. Like, that fool goes hard. And he even he says something. He goes, are you your son's hero? And he goes, yeah, I'm my son's hero. He goes, all right, your boss and you in a room, you still your son's hero when your boss checks you over something about work? Wow. And he's like he just didn't know what to say. And I'm like that's just really interesting shit. Like, you know, like, he had this big old gripe against people that work for employers and stuff like that. I mean, like, I got some of it, and I kind of got the message out of it and things like that. Like, really just got to do what you got to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, but there comes a point in time where maybe someone doesn't have.
You got to watch it. You got to watch it before you make a comment.
Yeah.
Watch it.
I'm just saying,
you got to watch it.
For me, I mean, it sounds like, I'd be interested in getting checked, reality, but not everyone's built that way.
That kind of like is where it comes from. Like, when you come off like you want to be built that way, and then you have to be challenged that way. Like, do you have what it takes to continue to push through or not push through on it?
That's tough, man.
Because I think everybody wants, maybe doesn't, at times isn't a clear definition. It's what we're kind of fed into to believe that this is what we need. This is the American dream.
Yeah.
Whether it's, whatever it is, this is what I need to do, you know what I mean? But like, that's why I always pose that question. Like, are you happy where you're at? Like, are you, is this where you thought you're going to be at this age?
Yeah.
Because if you ain't doing shit now to change it, or trying to unlearn and learn new shit, you're going to be there in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck else is gonna have a real conversation with you about changing your life?
Yeah. Well, it's
You
one
can't
of
have
the
that
things where-
conversation with yourself. That's
Yeah,
tough.
you have to. That's
But
where
you
you
have
have
to.
to be honest with yourself and be like, all right, this is what I want for myself. And that's why, like, even for me, you got, some kids that are coming in, like this young kid who wants to get into real estate, 19 years old. He knows by the time he's 30, 35, he wants to be retired. Real estate's a good avenue for him. He wants to be his own boss and stuff like that. And I'm going to show him what I know and see where it goes from there. But I think it's going to come from a place where I have to better myself, because here I am, 39 years old, changing everything for myself and the whole schedule and trying to better myself.
But
and
are you
try to
drawing
be a boss?
But are you trying to draw a comparison to like the fact that like, because you can think about it like this.
Right.
You got someone at that age telling you, this is all the stuff I want to do and I want to retire at this age.
Right.
And then are you looking at that and comparing it to your life? Like, damn, am I that far behind?
No,
or am I not? What I think the real question should be asked is like, why do you want to be retired at that age, right?
Yeah.
My belief is like, if you're built to grind that hard between here to there,
Right.
you ain't never going to shut that switch off.
Right.
Right? Think about that, right?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Like,
Well,
what
if you're
guy
retired-
what guy but what does retirement look like?
It depends
To
on
him.
perspective. To him, traveling around the world.
That's retiring?
To him, he wants to see different places.
But that's what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is like, you got to be fucking clear on what you're looking at,
Right.
right? Like, how many people you know that are retired that are still working?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And like, if you talk to older people, what I found, a lot of elder people, right, 60s, 70s, 80s, like, yo, once you turn that switch off, you're always that same person still. Like, it's really hard to shut that switch off of that mindset of you know what I'm saying, like going bigger and better. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, the conversation, if you want to have mentor him or that person, is just like, what does that look like when you get there? The traveling.
Yeah.
Like, what does that really, be clear with it? Like, what do you have to incur to travel? Like, okay, let's think of some, like how much do you need to do to travel? Where can you travel? What happens after you fucking travel all the time? Then what? You gonna go back to work?
I don't know.
But no, but I'm saying, like, think
yeah.
about that, right? Like, that's how so I want to get married and have a house. And I want to have a job just so I can pay the bills. Okay, so then when you do that, then what the fuck else are you gonna do? Just die like that?
No, but I'm saying that for him himself, he wants to go ahead and travel. So once he gets there, okay. But like you said, that's in the future.
But that's kind of
Things
like,
might change.
but what I'm saying,
you know?
that's kind of like that's what we're conditioned. Work hard, do this,
Right.
and then that's, then you're gonna retire, or work hard and like I'm not shooting it down. I'm saying you just gotta think deeper. Like,
Right.
I wanted to get into real estate because I wanted to pay off all my bills, and I just
Mhm.
wanted to have enough money to be comfortable. And then I'm
Right.
like, okay, so then I get there and I'm like, oh
not
shit,
what you
this
want.
isn't what the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
This I'm as empty as I was before when I did have it. I liked when I was making less money. There's less shit that came with it. No one ever prepped me for this. No one ever told me about this.
Right.
Because there's far and few that get to go through this. And then if they are going through this, how many of them are really honest about that shit? How many of them are really gonna sit you down and be like, no, fam, like, you may have to prepare for a divorce. If you don't get your shit together, you may have to go through this.
Yeah.
That's the conversation that we need to have.
So then is that because
That's your
going
goal,
into it?
Oh no, that's your recruit, not mine. No, but
No,
you know
no,
what I'm saying?
No, but that's what I'm saying. And like, and was entitled to their opinion. But when you were saying you got into it, you want to get everything going, and then you find out that, oh, it's not what you wanted. Was it that
I didn't think I knew who I
the
was.
divorce
Oh,
wake
I
up,
just
or
don't
was
think
it
I knew. I don't think in the transition of life, I don't think I didn't know. I don't know who I was. I don't know who I am. In these stages, my thoughts and my beliefs come from, you got to work really hard and show up in the morning and leave late at night and get the money and do, like because that's what you're conditioned or you're taught from your parents, you know what I mean? Or
Right.
whoever brought you.
That's true.
Yeah, whoever brought you up, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one who's teaching you to live. Like, I sound stupid, but I mean, that sounds stupid, but I'm saying it may sound weird, but like, yeah, I don't want my kids to get a job. I don't want them to work when they're fucking 2021. Like, go fucking do something. Go learn who you are. Become who you are. You go get a job. What are you gonna do? You're gonna buy a car. You know what I'm saying? Unless you stop yourself from buying one. You might buy some clothes. You might incur some debt. Now you can't leave. I mean, how many people How many people you know that when you're like, what do you want to be doing? Well, I would love to be doing this. Okay, so go do it. Oh, I can't because I have this, and this responsibilities because you just
Responsibilities. You said
Yeah,
it. It's
responsibilities
responsibilities.
fucking suck.
Yeah, they do, but that's a part of life, unfortunately.
If you can avoid it or be coached on it, but why is it a part of life? Because we're taught. Did you know that having a family was what you were supposed to do?
No,
Or was it just pressed upon you? Like again,
It was
you're an
pressed
empty
upon-
vessel
yeah,
with shit getting dumped in your head. Like same thing for me. I got to get married and I got to have kids. And like I mean, granted, my life that is blessed, and I'm don't get me wrong. I'm just saying
Right.
like who's telling you to become who you are? Like have that conversation. Like I look at my brother and I'm like, man, I really appreciate the fact that he's out in Long Beach. Yeah, he's struggling. I mean, in my mind, I think struggling because of the income and stuff like that. But
right.
dude, like I'm like, what do you do? Oh no, once I got work, we go walk and just drink coffee and talk and look at art. And I'm like, well, that's cool shit. Like,
Yeah,
that's just you know what I mean. Like that's what they're doing. You know, it's just it's a simplicity of life.
well, I think he doesn't have any kids, right?
Mm-mm.
So I think once you do have
Which
kids,
you
it
said
puts
that
things into perspective.
seeing me have kids. Well, yeah, no. No, having kids doesn't make your life doesn't. I don't think makes you any more responsible than you are. It's like having money. The shit you were bad at when you were broke is gonna be the same shit you're gonna be bad at when you have money or when you have it. Like it exposes you, right? So like if you naturally were a good person,
Right.
and responsible to a certain extent built into you, and you have kids, you're still going to continue to be that.
Right.
If you were always
Yeah.
a piece of shit, you're going to continue to be a piece of shit, kids or not. Like,
Right.
That's when we look at those people like, how do you do that? Like, how do you not visit your kids and shit like that? You know, because they've always been like that.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to change them.
Well, I think it just comes to a certain point because there are some people that actually do end up changing because of their kids. Right? Hey, you know what? I fucked up in high school. I was a dropout. You know what? I'm gonna get my GED. Then I'm gonna go to school and get my master's because they had their kid late.
But in the way you're saying it, though, is like they deep down have that drive to want to pursue to become better.
Yeah, but you just need that. I feel you need that cinder that, and kids cannot do it. You see some dads just fuck up and walk away.
Moms.
You know, and moms the same way. You know, either or. You know, but I think that if there are some cases or instances where kids do bring out the best in you, even though you've been a fuck up. Right? And you see it in movies all the time. And does it happen all the time? No, but
you know, my ex-wife used to say something funny, dude. It always cracked. At first, it used to hurt my feelings, but then it would bust me. Now I laugh at it. Just because you show, like it was like, it's almost like giving the bare minimum, right? You ever heard people say, "Well, I never went to jail." Great, you did what you're supposed not to go.
Yeah,
you're supposed to go to jail.
Yeah,
it's like so. I'd be like, "Oh, I helped out with the kids, and I helped do this," and I would start like, and she'd be like, "Great, you do what you're supposed to do as an adult, as a dad."
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'd be like, "Man, I'm helping out. I don't get it." But then I thought to myself, and if I draw comparisons to other guys that are bad dads and stuff like that, I would be like, well, I'm doing better than they are, but like I can't compare my life to them because that's I should already know that I should have a foundation of a solid person. Like that should be in kind of I should have picked that up ingrained in me. You know what I mean? My comparison to like where my dad never showed up for anything. He was there, but he didn't show up for anything. Like he was there, he didn't give us the emotional support. Like that's just how he was built. Right. He was a hard worker. That was about it. So I always thought, well, if I just gave a little bit more than him, I'm winning. And then I realized, like, no, like you can't, like So I find myself a lot of times, like I had to unlearn that. I could have ran with that. I could have just kept saying, "Oh, I just show up and we're good," right? But I had to educate myself from what she was telling me and the things I keep getting, like where, like put my phone down, and if we're watching TV, watch TV together, or let's just go for a walk, or do you want to color something? Like let's color something, right? Because what are they going to remember? They're going to remember. Well, I remember when my dad would just basically color with me in the book. Or we would read, or we would draw. That's the shit they're gonna remember, right?
Right.
Like that you connected with them. Not like, yo, I remember my dad bought me that those fresh shoes and the.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just unlearning and it's all unlearning and relearning.
Yeah. And with me, that's why I for myself I got into real estate because I can pay off a lot of debt, get that done, and then I want to create memories for my kids. I've said it before on the podcast. Yeah, if I can make a business to where I can spend more time with my kids, have more trips, spend more time with them, get up early, make pancakes with them in the morning and show them how to cook. That's what it's all about, man.
See, your children are at the age where you can have a conversation with them. Where I think you can ask them like, what you have to talk to them as an adult that may just not have the language. Like, well, what do you know? What's your dad be doing? Or what would make you happy for us to do together?
Yeah.
They may not want to do half the shit you want to do.
Yeah.
What if they said, what if they told you like,
to.
no, I'm saying like, what if they told you like, Dad, I don't want to travel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go anywhere. Like, now your agenda's on them. And now you're going to feel mad because they don't want to do that, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So like, you can't. So I guess I'm saying like, that's why I thankfully my oldest is where she's at. Cause like, I'll just have conversations with her all the time. Like, what are your thoughts about this? And what do you think about this? And
yeah,
cause I know they're not dumb. Like they know, they see, they just may not be able to explain and stuff like that. And then, you can even look at the little ones and like have a simplicity of life. Like yesterday, my two youngest ones were taking a bath. Well, one was taking a bath and the other one was getting ready. She was like, the 3-year-old looks at the 4-year-old and she's like, "Hey, Bubba." She's like, "Are you happy?" He's like, "I'm happy." And I'm like, holy shit. Like, that's just real simple. Like, like they don't care. There's nothing else for them to care about, but like what's going on there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's amazing. You know what I mean?
That's funny because we talked about the exact same thing this morning when my wife's cousin was there. We were talking about, man, doesn't it suck getting older? Because, it's pressed upon us that, well, you got to pay your bills and, oh, we're behind on this. We need this paycheck to catch up to this. And it's like, shit, man, I wish I could have gone back just some more simpler times. On a holiday, you know what I was doing? Getting cereal, watching cartoons or the Three Stooges, early in the morning by myself hanging out. Get up, go ride the bike with my friends. Hey, Mom, I'll be back. Take off, come back 5, 6 o'clock, have dinner, go to bed, shower, potentially, and then that's it. Very simple stuff, man. But then I agree with you. It's
and you can't do that. I mean, but you can still do that now.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay,
like we practice. I feel like, and like I said, reading that, like there's so much of like, you just gotta go, like you just gotta get up and do it, and you gotta pull yourself through it and the grind and all this kind of shit. But then like my guy's like, the Humble the Poet's like, yo, if you get up in the morning, you just don't want to fucking go, don't go. Like, what the hell are you gonna do if you ain't no use? Like, sit in and watch a movie. If you need to take that day to yourself, take that day to yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like. Because if not, then like, because I run that all the time. Like, there's times where I'm like, I'm gonna go do this in the morning, and then I'm gonna go in like around 12, and I'm feeling so guilty the whole time.
Yeah,
man, I should be at work, and I should be making phone calls, and I could be doing so much more to generate business. And then I'm like, man, but am I happy? Am I happy doing that? Am I? No. But if I'm there every day, right, and everybody walks in, they're like, "Hey, you're grinding, and hey, you're making calls and stuff." You know what I'm saying? Like to them, they're like, "Oh, well, that's what it takes in order to get that." But to me, I'm sitting there thinking like, I prefer to be outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when the last time you take a walk? just take a walk. Like, remember what it was like to be a kid? Like, you had no car, you got to walk from one place to another.
Man, that was the best, dude.
When's the last time you took a walk? Like, when's the last time you just sat down in the grass? Like, when's the last time all the shit that's for free that we just don't even do?
Yeah.
We're so caught up in the fact that we got to do this to this to this and that. And, I'm like, there's a lot of more people that are going to look at you like you're crazy when you bring this shit up, the ones that are going to support you. The ones that are going to support you that get that are the ones you want to surround yourself with, because they're kind of living that same state of mind. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you get that, what are you going to say? The shit you read, like when someone's dying on their deathbed, like, they're not going back saying, "Man, I wish I would just close that deal." Or, "Man, if I could just been at work a couple more hours." Like, a lot of times, like, "Man, if I would have just stopped and smelled the roses."
Yeah, that's pretty good. But so then, like, and I've said this before. I think I told my son about it. How homeless people that don't have a home, they put themselves in that situation, right? But when we went to San Diego, I think it was last one, my wife and I thought about it. Man, all the people that are on the beach, the homeless people, they're not doing shit. They have no bills. They're hanging out at the beach. How much do they really need to live? And you ask yourself the question, like, they have clothes in the back. They can go panhandle for like $5-10, go get a meal, buy some water, and they're straight for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about anything. I thought, damn it, man. If it was really like that simple, like the home I have, I don't really need all that stuff.
Mm.
But I want it because I thought, okay, it'd be cool to have. Be something for myself.
There's a chapter here. There it is. Want versus a need. Did you want it or did you need it?
Well, hell no, I wanted it.
And that's what most of us do. We want things.
Right.
And then we get unwanted responsibilities that don't allow for us to do things. And then we have to work harder. And then we have to give up more of our time. You're never going to get your time back.
No, hell no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think about this. Like, and I bug out on this all the time. I send my kids to school because me and the mom work, and they're, the older ones are in school too. Like, they're going to school at 8:00 in the morning, and they're there till about 5:30.
Right.
I'm giving up that amount of time with my children in the earliest stages of their lives to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get that back. Because of what? I got to pay the bills. I mean, obviously this is just random chat, like talk, because we know no matter what, we're going to show up tomorrow and go to work. But I'm saying like you're trading that off.
Well, I think you have to, man, because do you think you have the time to sit there and teach your kids the ABCs, the fundamentals, the structure that they feel they need? Can you teach them that? Can you spend 8 hours of your day teaching your kids?
Well, I don't think it should be. I really don't think education should last that. Like, I mean, it could go a couple hours. It's just a structure that's like, this is a whole other set of things of what, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're going to get taught a way to be an employee. You go to school at a certain time, you take a break, go to lunch, you take a break. What do we do when you go to a regular job? You go to work, you take a 15-minute break, you take a lunch, you take a 15, you go home.
Okay.
Because we've had to give up that amount of our life. It's so much easier for us to go to work and give up 8 to 9 to 10 hours of our life because it's what we've been doing. It's what we've been conditioned to do.
Right.
Until you try to break the mold and be like, yo, I'm gonna try to get into entrepreneurship because I want to be my own boss. Right.
Right.
So what I'm saying in general is like it sucks and we have to give up so much time.
Yeah, we have to. It's a give and take. I think you really have to give up that time because when they're with someone else, they understand, okay, that's another authoritative figure that, okay, you got to respect that. And they're showing them, structure, responsibility, whatever it is that they do. But I think it's the time when they get home that you spend time with them, like you say, being in the present with them and showing them,
if you could take a snapshot, fuck that. If you could take a snapshot of somebody's life, from the moment that you had them until the moment that maybe when they become their own adult, whatever, and weigh out the amount of hours that you actually got to spend with them versus the amount that you didn't, I think it'd be a scary visual.
Yeah.
Weigh out your amount of hours that you got to work to that. So yes, we can't fix that, but what I'm saying is we can condition ourselves to be, or maybe be more open to how do we just take the risk to gain that more time? How do we stop aligning our goals with things that have to be consumption, that things that have to, like, where did you get the idea of investing from? Like, where did you get these ideas where you want to get rentals? Like, somebody told you that because you asked that person who's in that realm, right?
Right.
Okay, so now what if there's 2 questions you ask them? Well, how did you get here? And then not only how you got here, what kind of shit came along with you getting here?
Right. Responsibility for success. And I think, but again, you're probably going to say, what's my definition of success? It can vary from person to person. Mm-hmm. And that's true, but I can't take that away from them because I feel like that's going to be maybe a path I could take that'll probably help me get to where I want to a little bit faster versus me trying to learn it on my own and figure stuff out and stumble and thought, well, if he can help me out a little bit and not avoid the pitfalls that he's done, I think I'll be a little bit better.
Okay.
Am I going to have my own pitfalls?
So, hey, so you asked the guy, as I said, that's why you should ask them what the pitfalls were.
Right.
But you got to get a mentor that's going to be honest with you though. Right.
Yeah.
Like how many people are really honest? Like, I've seen people spit all their knowledge about how you should live a certain lifestyle, and here it is, and all this blah blah blah, and then turn around and they're getting a divorce because infidelity. Mm-hmm. Like, who the fuck you been the whole time? You've been lying the whole time. Why? Because you're trying to just gain monetary. You're trying to gain money on somebody, right? When reality comes out and you get exposed, now what? Like, it was just all you did was lie. to try to make it look like now you're an Instagram post. You're just lying about your shit to make it look a certain way to get a certain thing out of it, right?
Right.
So, how'd you get those? Oh man, I had to do this, but because of that, man, I went through so much shit. Like, here's all the shit that I had to go through, man. I went through a couple of divorces, I had lost some, but because of that, here's what like that's now you're getting. And I said, no one really wants to, certain people are going to try to prepare you if you ask them the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, man. It does. And I see where you're going with that. And that is true. It's a lot harder to be upfront and be 100% one butt naked honest with anyone else because
you're concerned about what they're going to think.
What they're going to think, but how they're going to react towards you. Are they going to hate you for it or not? And
who cares?
Exactly. But that's the new mind frame. I think you've always had that mind frame, I think, but now it's just coming out more to light, right. Which, most people are really intimidated by that, man. Well, no one wants to have that 100 butt naked honest conversation.
And we don't
who they are.
And we don't be honest to ask those honest questions. One, because we don't want to be judged. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you don't want to turn them off because in the end, it's tough to be alone.
Yeah.
Because you feel if you can't play into everybody, you're gonna be by yourself.
Right.
And you'll realize the ones that are kind of winning are just happy with themselves because they love themselves. Mm-hmm. And no one could ever take that away from them, right?
Yeah.
So now everything they're doing is from a different point going forward. So it's kind of like I told you, like, it's kind of like off mic. I'm like, this is kind of where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. It may not make any sense to you. It may not make sense to anybody. There's a couple people I talk to. It's like, I totally makes sense. Mm-hmm. But that's just kind of where the mind frame is at, Right. And I'm not asking for anybody to support it. I'm not asking for anybody to get behind it.
You're just being honest with yourself.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, man, because the more you say things and the less you keep them in, the more it's going to like lose power, right? Like the fear, what if? Like now it's just like, hey, well, all right, I've said it. And now let's make a game plan and let's figure it out.
Right.
Like, let's get here, like. It ain't always gonna be what everybody thinks. Like, okay, well, maybe you should get this many things and this to do this to free up more of your time. Like, maybe it's just easy just doing what the hell I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm personally pretty resilient. Like, I don't care how bad stuff's always got. I've always made it back out.
Yeah.
So why can't I make it out of where I need to get to? It can happen. I just need to do it. It's another diving board to get off. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I took the leap to get into real estate, and I'm going to take that leap, I see a lot of homies, a lot of friends, a lot of close people, man, that have so much talent. And I would think that this field would be great for them. And I've seen some people, man, like trading off like income for time and to uproot a family and move a family. And I'm like, you could be here, but you just got to trust yourself. But in a sense, you're putting your trust in somebody else because they believe in you that you'll uproot everything to go. Like, I'll talk to you about it off air.
Well, I mean, valid thoughts, man. Wow.
Oh yeah,
how far we pretty good, man.
47 minutes.
47 minutes into it. We got about maybe 13 minutes left.
What book have you read, man, that you think that's kind of been impactful? Like, because I told you, I feel like this one has literally spoke to me. I don't think I've ever read a book that I feel so passionate about.
Yeah, like 4 times total in 2 audio.
Oh, dude, fire! Yeah,
I mean, I like it because the print's actually pretty big. You could read it really quick.
Glasses.
But I really can't recall. The only thing that I can say is I don't read books. I can read the shit out of a magazine all day.
Okay.
But a book, I can't. I've been listening to Russell Brand, Under the Skin.
Yeah.
And it kind of talks about
the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I listened to that one, and the one that was interesting. It was episode number 80. It was talking about sex and the connection of sex, like who has real sex, stuff like that. So I don't want to go too deep into it because we're limited on time, but. If you go on Under the Skin, podcast number 80, the Russell Brand Show, he talks with the English accent, and sometimes he'll equivocally talk about currency, but switch currency into units or pounds or something, whatever their currency is over there. But it's very interesting because he talks about, like you said, being happy with yourself and, finding that bliss of just being you,
Well, you got to think, I mean, the dude came from heavy drug addiction,
crazy
sex addiction, all this shit,
drugs, everything.
To kind of like, you know, where he's at now.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jim Carrey's like the time, like, I've been looking at things about him and stuff like that. He was kind of the same thing. Like, I wish everybody could become rich, or I wish everybody could achieve all that stuff so they could realize it ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like in hindsight, you could be like, oh, well, easy for you to say, you already got there. You know what I'm saying? But like, again, you know, like, again, I think if your cup's not full and you're chasing that, it's not going to be full when you get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, man. I think every day people just try to fill up that cup. And I'm part of that too. I want to fill up, hey, this financial cup to get this because I believe this is going to take me to here.
Different cup. I'm thinking in like your self-love cup.
Oh, a self-love cup. Oh, okay.
Like,
so it's
because if you're not, like, you know what I'm saying, how many books or how many things have you came across where you're like, yo, that person got here and then they're really sad, or like they've had a lot of issues, like Robin Williams, you know, like all that. You know what I mean? Like, just if you can't listen to that, if you don't listen to stuff like that and then take a nugget from it to really apply in your current situation, again, you know, that's like, damn, man, am I gonna be happy if I get there? Am I happy when I move? I'm gonna be happy when I buy that or when I get this. You know, everybody's always, when you talk to somebody, it's always like, and I've kind of tried to make this like what do you call it? Like a habit when people are like, yeah, I got into real estate. I'm like, oh, okay, well, why? Like, oh man, I just want to pay off all my bills and I want to be, you know, I just want to be comfortable, have more time. I'm like, okay, and like, well, what are you gonna do when you have that? And they just don't know how to answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a basic question. Like, what are you gonna do? Like when I get there, right? Because a lot of times we just put the carrot out and then it's in front of us and we get the carrot. Then what? When's the next carrot? Like, again, you know, it's just really just broadening it. Like, let me think about it a little further, deeper.
You know what? And I can attest to that because for myself, I've always been trying to get fit and get shape, had the washboard abs and broad shoulders and everything, right? But then I thought, man, I got to limit what I eat, right? And you told me before, hey, you cut back on carbs and do this and like eat healthier foods, what you're eating. I'm like, yeah. So I get in that kick where like, okay, I'm going to work out. So I lift heavy, get a good pump. Oh man, it's cool. And then, I'm hungry. Oh, I can't go too much. You know what? I went to a point, I said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to eat that cold pizza and coffee after I'm done working out because I'm happy with it. I don't care. I'm like, I'm going to go and do this. When I die, it's not going to be like, hey, he was fit as shit, but you know what? He had horrible eating habits. No, I try to maintain a healthy lifestyle if I can. And if I see good food, like, dude, Dwarves, I've been on a kick. Hey, after this podcast, let's go get some Dwarves.
So
you know what I mean? I'm
just
like,
and I can appreciate that.
And I'm trying to be happy with it. Just like,
but that's like, but that said, you just got to set your goal different.
Yeah.
Again, you know what I mean? Like, you can't. There's like a certain amount of that's like when someone gets into the business and they're like, yo, my first year, I've never been in this. I'm trying to sell 50 houses. Right? Okay, so when you say you're gonna get that's when you say you're gonna get a six pack. I know there's no part of you that will ever get a six pack because you have no discipline to get a six pack. Just like I don't.
Yeah. So I'm like,
so why even put that on the table? Like, because it sounds great.
It sounds great.
You sound like every goddamn other American that thinks that. Until you actually talk to a person that has that, and they're like, yo, it's really hard.
I've had it. I lost it.
Fool, I had one in high school.
No, I had one after high school, which was great. But it's just like you said, man. It's like it's that carrot that I keep chasing. Like, okay, that's what's gonna keep me going, working out every day for myself. Because okay, if I don't get a six pack, that's okay. At least I worked out something.
But then I always think too, like, what's the use of like saying it out loud though? Like, hey, you tell people when you're in public and shit like that, like, yeah, I'm working out, I'm gonna get this and this and that. Like, because then you're setting yourself up to fail because. That doesn't make better accountability because you tell everybody. That's like people on Facebook, like, this year for New Year's, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna do this, and then you're like 3 months later, like, how's that all going for you? Oh, it didn't work out. I'm drinking again. Like, why post it? Because you don't don't have enough confidence that they can do it. Like, move in the shadows, move quiet.
Yeah.
Like, most of the people that post that shit don't do it.
Yeah.
Most of the people that say they're gonna do a certain thing don't do it. Now they say it, right, because they think like, well, if I put it out there,
Yeah,
it's
you project to the
accountability.
world.
People are gonna
it's
be,
drawn to
yeah, hell nah, man.
No?
Like, nah, man. Like,
So just because
just keep that shit to
to
yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you walk in and say, I'm gonna sell 50 houses this year. Halfway through the year, I'm like, hey, how we looking on those 50? I'm real far behind. I'm like, just keep your mouth shut next time. Like in my mind, I'm like, just write your goal down, keep it to yourself, right? And be ready to slide,
like
and adjust. Like that's kind of that's kind of it, you know?
Okay.
Like because again, you know, like, but then you got to be real. Like you got to look back at like, am I really disciplined to do this?
Yeah.
It's not that I can't do it. Am I disciplined?
That's with anything.
That's why people give me a book. I'm like, here, read this book. I'm like, yeah, fam, I'm not disciplined to read a book.
Yep.
Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you right
That's
now.
what I'm saying.
Well,
where
that
that
you
read
that, like, I don't want to do it. Like,
yeah,
it has to talk to me.
I'm like,
It has to reach me. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? What talked to me today was I was at home before the podcast. I come. I'm at the house waiting. All of a sudden, I hear ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what? Ice cream truck in my neighborhood. And you see my neighborhood. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, ice cream. I was like, hey, well, I got $7. There's plenty of money. Let's go get an ice cream. Like old times, right? You hear the ice cream truck coming around or the van. Oh, cool. Hey, stop, buddy, stop. He stopped. Yeah, come around. We go. This guy, he's got it. The side door's open. He's got his Funyuns, all this other stuff. And then he's got a list of ice cream. I'm like, okay. How much for that one, fam? He goes, that one. He mumbles something, goes and gets it. I said, no. How much is that ice cream? And it was a drumstick with nuts on it. $2.50. I said, what? I said, hey, no, let's go inside. I'd rather go to Wars. $2.50 for ice cream. So then we go inside, and I think my daughter like, well, I thought we were gonna get ice cream. I said, look, man, we'll get more of our money's worth if we go to Wars. For an additional $1.50, I can get an 8-pack and do all that stuff. And I thought, man, that really spoke to me. I'm like, you know what? It ain't like the old times. Times change. And for something like that, I'm thinking $2.50 for a drumstick of ice cream. I said, oh hell no. So I got into the entrepreneurial spirit. I said, you know what? If we buy a box and sell it for $1.50 around this neighborhood, you can make a certain amount of money. You double that. We'll just ride around and do that ourselves. Cut the price and then do that. So
sounds good, huh?
It sounds good, but then do I really want to be out in the hot sun in a van?
You ain't gonna do that shit.
No, I'm not.
But if you want to put on for TV, it sounded good.
Hey, not a problem. Hey.
Another thing you're paying for, buddy, is pay for convenience.
Yeah.
Then to bring the ice cream to you. Like, come on. That's a lot of convenience. Let's not act like a 24-pack of water bottles is not like $2.50, but then you go walk in and buy a cold one for $2.50.
Yeah.
It's convenience.
It is convenience.
And with that,
we is done.
I think we're done ending on that one. But hey, you know what? We're gonna end the podcast on YouTube, and we'll end it on the one that's gonna upload. And like, hey, let's keep this going real quick on IG and Facebook and see if there's any questions or anything like that we can answer off there. So fair enough. All right, everybody. Thanks for looking.
Thanks for listening.
Watching. Follow.
Put a stamp on it. Podcast.com.
We out. Boom. And you got